to run through this as quick as I can because my last video I did for this took nearly 20 minutes. I went too deep. Okay, so we can write a notice at any time to a person or a corporation, legally and privately. Difference between a notice and a letter is a notice can be produced in court and it's legally binding, unlike a letter. Now, first of all, you need the word notice in it to describe what type of document it is. There are many different types of notices, say like a notice of fault or a notice of intention to sue. Well, this is a notice of conditional acceptance, which puts you morally at the top because you aren't refusing, you aren't arguing or disputing, you are accepting an offer as long as it can meet your terms and conditions. This makes it very hard for whoever you are noticing to take you to court or to take any other action than what the notice allows. So, okay, I'll run through it from the top. Time-sensitive document, estoppel conditions apply. Estoppel means it's an agreement where you have offered something to be put forth, and if it hasn't been rebutted after 3 notices, it then stands legally as the truth. Time-sensitive document means the same thing, basically, that in a sense a timely reply has been ordered. If it is ignored, well then acquiescence is assent, meaning you have their agreement from their silence. You always want to put your name in the right corner. That's where the creditor puts their name. And then the left side is the debtor. So the creditor is the one who asks questions, and then the debtor is the one who answers them. So I've sent this to Steve Mayhem Marshall, Scott Lost the Plot Morrison, and Greg the Hunt, if you know what I mean. You want to put we, us, our next to your name. Reason being, you don't want to identify as the name, like the name on your driver's license, because you are actually not that person. You are a party to that name. So basically, we, us, our means you're referring to your estate. And in the notice, you'll put we, us, our in it when you're describing things about yourself. And it's you and your for whoever else you are noticing. Office found. This doesn't need to go on every notice, but it's just a bit of security for yourself in case you send it to the wrong department, to whatever company or corporation you're sending it to, that even if a receptionist gets it or the wrong department gets it, they work for the company and they have to make sure it goes to the right person. Otherwise, they are just as liable. And this is just a maxim of law. Within the universal maxim of law, notice to agent is notice to principal, and notice of principal is notice to agent. All address parties jointly and severally, as well as their successors, nominees, and assigns. So you're just saying, if you pass it to an agent, it goes to whoever it's meant to go to. Now, I'm not going to read this because it'll take forever, but this is how you write a notice. I want you to pause it and just read it so I don't have to go through it all. So I'll just quickly go down. But basically you're saying you have your rights and you're willing to conditionally accept if your terms and conditions are met. And that's where I get to the questions that I have for them, which they can't answer. And if they can't answer all of these questions properly and within my rights and law, well then I don't need to follow any of the COVID rules or have the mandatory vaccines. And if I choose not to have them, I can still keep all my rights in place. So I'll just read a couple. So, where is your right to allow police or other agents of government to issue directions or fines or charges or to use undue influence, coercion, force or intimidation in an attempt to force compliance of your rules? Another one. Your rights under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR, to override our rights in this declaration, in particular reference 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 18 and 23, which have been used to create the human rights of each state in Australia. So I've got 27 questions here, and so they get more and more important. So please provide us with all the evidence showing that the WHO, I've put up here, which is the World Health Organization, has provided you with scientific and peer-reviewed safety reports published in medical journals that the flu vaccination and the COVID-19 vaccination for every product you wish to use in Australia for the flu and COVID-19 have been proven to be 100% safe and 100% effective. Because if it's not, they can't put your life at risk, and they literally are. So I've got plenty of questions here, but you can actually hold them liable to where they will owe you sums of money if they don't meet your terms and conditions, or if you take the vaccine and you are damaged, you can sue and hold them liable and get money from them. So this is the Notice of Conditional Acceptance. Sorry, I shouldn't go so quick. Pause it, read it if you want. Retype this, copy it, try and make it a bit different. They shouldn't all look exactly the same. This is a good one. I just threw in, if the alleged COVID-19 vaccine is in its experimental stage, where's your right to lead us into a medical experiment by withholding our rights, contrary to the Nuremberg Code 1947? Just go for a few of them where the voluntary consent of a human subject is absolutely essential, that the person should have consent, blah, blah, blah. So get down to the end. Remedy. I'll finish off of this. If you are unable or unwilling to provide us with evidence as requested, it is agreed by both parties, you and us, that our employment, benefits, freedom to travel and freedom to enjoy our lives without restrictions will remain as they should be prior to February 2020. Free in every sense of the word, and will remain so, with no ill effect or injury of all kinds, and our lives will not be limited in any way for a medical condition or health status or any other restriction not yet created or advertised. And if we feel discrimination of any kind, you will take every measure necessary to abate the situation and provide us with remedy as stated in above points. It is also agreed by your acquiescence that our terms and conditions for damages, for injury or harm of all kinds addressed in above points 1 to 27 will take effect 14 days from this notice and will remain for the period of our natural life. Blah, blah, blah. So then you want to finish it so you're not in argument, you're not insulting their intelligence, and you were just basically trying to claim your rights that you already have and not have them taken from you. So you finish it with something like this: without malice, vexation, argument, or merriment. Merriment means you're not enjoying this. So you're not doing it out of the enjoyment for yourself. You're doing it because you feel like you have to. Thank you for your time and assistance offered in this matter. My best regards. With your signature, you put by, which means by accommodation of the name, meaning you aren't the name. That will go over a lot of people's heads if they haven't learned the straw man effect and what your birth certificate actually means. Your birth certificate basically means you're dead and lost at sea, and that you are owned by the state. You're the state's property. So by, I would put your signature there, I'd put my signature there, and then all rights are reserved, meaning I'm reserving all my rights I previously had, and I'm rejecting any offer until my conditions are met. Otherwise, non-negotiable autograph, no assured value, no liability, errors and omissions accepted, which means if you've left something out or typed something incorrectly, they can't assume something else, and it basically means what I meant it to mean. Anyway, and finish it off with end of notice. Always put end of notice right at the bottom really close, because they could just print more pages out and make it look like you were saying other things. So that is how you write a notice. Many people I know are writing these and they are working. This is how a lot of people have been able to let their kids go to school and go to childcare without having vaccinations, because they've actually got letters back from the government allowing them to not be subjected to the terms and conditions. And you can still receive all your benefits. If, I'm sorry to our parents out there that have got their kids vaccinated, mainly because they were coerced into it, saying their benefits would be taken from them. But letters like these asking them to please explain the safety and your concerns, they will never explain, and then they'll write you a letter giving you permission just to live how you're meant to live. Because in here I've even written that, which is in the UN, that benefits and privileges can't be taken from you if you choose not to take medication. So it's all there. Proof's in the pudding. I hope that helped. Bye.